It was the night of January 5, 1999, in a fancy apartment building in Arcadia, Los Angeles. A middle-aged Chinese guy named Xiao was pacing back and forth in his living room like a caged tiger, nervous as hell. On the couch sat his sister-in-law, a young woman sobbing her eyes out. "Every time Mingda leaves town, he calls home no matter how far he is," she cried. "He's been gone all day and I haven't heard a peep. Not on his cell, not at the hotel. This has never happened before." The guy she called Big Brother was the older sibling of Taiwanese-American businessman Xiao Mingda. Before his little brother left, Mingda had told him, "As soon as I land in Hangzhou, I'll call you so we can talk about the investment." But a whole day had passed. Not a single word. After finally calming his sister-in-law down and sending her home, Xiao was just about to head to bed when the phone on the couch started ringing. He lunged for it. Dead silence on the other end. He hung up suspicious. The phone rang again. This time he let it ring twice on purpose. Right as his hand touched the receiver, the fax machine hooked up to the phone started whirring. He snatched the paper and felt his stomach drop like a rock. The message was crystal clear. "If you don't want your brother to die, you'd better do exactly what we say." Zhao's knees buckled. He collapsed onto the sofa, staring at the paper in shock. Before he could even catch his breath, the fax machine fired up again. This time the kidnappers named their price and said they'd give him instructions on how to pay. He sat there frozen, flipping those two thin sheets of paper over and over like they might change. Finally he made a call. He wasn't telling his sister-in-law yet. First he was calling the cops. Los Angeles PD took the report and immediately kicked it upstairs to the FBI. Because this thing smelled exactly like another kidnapping they just cracked with Chinese police on January 4th. The feds told Xiao to play it cool and follow the kidnappers' instructions to the letter. Don't tip them off. Back at home, a third fax came in. The ransom was $200,000, to be wired right away to an account at Taiwan First Commercial Bank, Jelly Branch in Tainan. If he didn't move fast, the price would jump to $2 million. To prove he hadn't called the cops, they wanted $5,000 good faith money sent immediately. The FBI agents, already quietly monitoring every call and fax from Zhao's place, had already traced the kidnapper's number. They told Xiao to go ahead and wire the money. Time to team up with the Chinese again. This was the second cross-Pacific kidnapping case in a month. Beijing wasted no time. The Ministry of Public Security ordered Zhejiang police to drop everything, rescue the hostage, and round up every last scumbag involved. Using the FBI's intel, Zhejiang cops and Hangzhou police quickly pieced together the situation. Xiao Mingda was a Taiwanese businessman who'd become a U.S. citizen. He lived in a wealthy Chinese neighborhood in Arcadia and had just opened an import-export company there in December 1998. This trip to Hangzhou was supposed to be for business. Instead, he got snatched. From the way the kidnapping went down and how well the perps knew Mingda, Zhejiang detectives figured it had to be someone close to him, probably not mainland guys. The investigation moved fast. Big break. Both the hostage and the kidnappers were holed up together in a hotel right there in Hangzhou. At dawn on January 9th, Zhejiang police stormed the place. They rescued Xiao Mingda and busted 7 suspects on the spot. 4 were Taiwanese, including 3 named businessmen, Huang Chongxing, Yin Yin, and Wu Changxiao. The other 3 were still being ID'd. Meanwhile, Taiwan's Criminal Investigation Bureau got the heads up from Zhejiang and the FBI. On the morning of January 11th, they set up a stakeout outside the bank in Tainan. When Huang Chongxing's wife Chen Lihua and his brother Huang Chongguang showed up and tried to pull out 90,000 Taiwan dollars in 3 separate ATM withdrawals, cops swooped in and nabbed them both. Taiwan police suspected there was at least one more accomplice still on the island and kept digging. They were also hunting down the rest of the ransom money scattered across Taiwan. Funny thing, on the exact same day Xiao Mingda got grabbed, U.S. and Chinese cops had just wrapped up another almost identical kidnapping in the same rich Chinese neighborhood in Los Angeles. That victim was Chen Guanan, teenage son of famous Taiwanese real estate tycoon Chen Fushun. The kid was snatched right outside his apartment on December 14, 1998, while he was still in high school in L.A. On December 17th, the kidnappers called Chen Fushun demanding $1.5 million. After thinking it over, the father decided to call the FBI. Using phone traces from Taiwan police, the feds quickly zeroed in on a suspect, George Wang, the boyfriend of a 23-year-old girl who worked at one of Chen Fuxin's companies in China. Turns out George and another guy named Wang Shulin had been living together in apartment 301 of a 5-story building in LA's Chinatown area. Even though both men had supposedly moved out, the utilities were still running full blast. The feds figured the kid was being held right there. To keep the kidnappers calm, the FBI had Chen Fuxin fly back to Taiwan and agree to deliver the ransom in Xiamen, Fujian province, on December 29. Chinese police were looped in for full backup. FBI agents from Hong Kong flew down to coordinate. Everything was set. Chen Fuxin showed up at the Bank of China in Fujian, sweating bullets. After waiting over 2 hours, one of the suspects finally approached him and let him talk to his son on his cell phone to prove the kid was still alive. Then came the screw-up. Right when Chen was about to cash $500,000 in traveler's checks, he realized he'd forgotten his passport. Panic mode. The kidnappers had given him only 15 minutes to get the money or they'd kill the boy. Driving back to his hotel would take at least 20. Desperate, Chen pulled out a fat wad of Chinese cash and begged the guy to cut him some slack. The suspect didn't even blink, just grabbed the bribe and said okay. 10 minutes later, the $500,000 was handed over. The guy walked out of the bank, met 2 other shady characters, jumped in a cab and took off. At that exact moment, 30 FBI agents had the apartment building surrounded. The second they got the word from China that the ransom had been paid, they stormed room 301. They kicked the door in and found Chen Guanan chained to the bed, blindfolded with a towel stuffed in his mouth. The 2 kidnappers in the living room were still on the phone, faces frozen in pure, oh shit mode as the feds poured in. The rescue news shot back to Fujian instantly. Local cops who'd been tailing the 3 money guys grabbed all of them and recovered every last dollar of the ransom. 2 kidnappings, 2 continents. One hell of a coordinated takedown.